Yeah, no, I got it. It's fine. You've got to go up and down with the arrows.
Yeah.
Right.
See Bill. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Yeah, just can't fit everybody on.
Yeah, that's fine. There's Cynthia. Okay.
But I have my camera on.
I hear Wendy. Wendy doesn't have her camera on.
Hi,
I have it hooked up, I thought. Huh.
there's Gabe.
I'm gonna mute me. I'm here though.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, whoever said that.
Yep, that
Thank
was
you,
Shauna.
Yep, that was okay. Oh my gosh, we got quite a list. Hi, Val.
Yeah, John Henning.
Where are you guys seeing this at?
If you drag your mouse down to the bottom, Vern, where it says participants, you click on that and it shows you all the participants. There are 26 people on right now.
Okay, I'm looking up. Okay, I just see the name. Mine's up on top.
Yeah,
Shauna,
Elizabeth,
Bell,
John,
Wendy.
yeah, John Henning doesn't have his video on or his sound.
Hey, can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
All right, I just figured out how to unmute myself.
Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute everybody except the board. So I'm going to mute it and then I'm still letting people in. So this is okay, but I just want to make sure who we've got. So I'm going to mute you and then I'm going to unmute.
Yeah, you've turned off John Henning.
I'm going to mute everybody. I'm going to mute everybody and then I'm going to unmute. And Ann, okay, so I should now, let's see here, we've got, just verifying, and you can see who's on with board members.
Turn off.
Hey, Connie.
We've got all board members unmuted, muted.
Is your board meeting?
John Henning, do you know how to turn on your video?
I chose not to.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I just wanted to make sure you knew how to if you needed to. And actually, I couldn't. Yeah, I could.
Oh, shoot.
Oh,
shoot.
Go ahead. So far, so good. We have 26 participants. I believe
Wow.
board members are in attendance.
Are you up to talk in this thing?
Is that 26 for everyone, Elizabeth? Everyone?
That's 26, everyone that's including board staff and public.
Public, okay.
And everybody right now, board members have been unmuted. I'm muting everybody else in the meeting outside of Ann and myself for the moment and board members.
Okay.
And for those that have joined the meeting, I just want to make a brief announcement. So thank you for joining us this evening. This is a new experience for us all as we test drive this new virtual reality. For those that are members of the public, when we get to public comments, which we have 2 times during the meeting, if you are to click on where it says participants and you scroll to the bottom, there is a place to where it says raise hand. If you click on raise hand, then we will take you in order and I will unmute your microphone so that you can make public comment. Public comments on district matters are limited to 3 minutes per person, and board members welcome all comments and will take them under advisement. All right, President Scotchy, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Ann, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we are going to not do the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to move right into 3.0, which is introductory roll call. Ann, would you please take the roll call?
Trustee Cook. Can you unmute Trustee Cook?
Oh, okay, yes. Hold on a second. Thank you. Yes.
I am here.
There he is. Okay, Trustee Cook. Trustee Brandt.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Henning.
Yes.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell.
Yes.
And Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
We have a full house and a quorum.
Okay. Could I have a motion for the consideration to allow the Board of Trustees to attend remotely through electronic participation?
All right, I also move to, for the remote participation, consideration of a motion to allow the Board of Trustees to attend remotely per Administrative Policy 02.04.02.
I'll second.
Who was the second?
Dave.
Dave?
Thank you, Dave. Okay, Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Brandt.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell.
Yes.
Trustee Henning.
Yes.
Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Before we adopt the agenda, I just want to go, we're going to alleviate time and move the meeting along. We're not going to do 5.0 special recognition. I'd like to not do 6.0 trustees reports, 7.0 county board liaison report. And I don't think Bob is on the call if I saw the names correctly. And 8.0, the president's report. So we're going to make those modifications to move things along tonight.
So Vern, can I ask, when will we do a special recognition some other time?
Yes, we'll
Okay.
do it when the officers could be present, Dave, and we
Okay.
could give them the due they deserve.
Sounds good.
Okay, so can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
Pat Fritz.
Thank you, Pat.
Brandt, second.
Thank you. Trustee Brandt.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell.
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Henning.
Yes.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
And Trustee Scotchy.
Yes,
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. I'd like to go to 9.0 public comments. If there's public in the audience, which there seems to be, if you would like to say something, address the board, 3-minute limitation, and if you could tell us who you are and where you live. So does anybody want to make any comments? Not,
We
Hi,
do
can you
have,
guys hear me?
I'm going in order. Somebody recognized their hand, so I've unmuted you.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, this is Kim Hankins. I live in Crystal Lake, and I just wanted to jump on here this evening and thank the board and the trustees and all of the employees and staff for keeping the sites open during this incredibly stressful time for our community. I myself was out at Pleasant Valley yesterday, and while it's pretty mucky out there, it was certainly a nice respite to be out there. I saw a lot of people, and everybody was pretty good about the social distancing, but I really am very grateful, and I know the community is grateful for keeping the Conservation District sites open and accessible to the community when we need it the most.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Kim.
Kim?
Is there anybody else that would like to say something? I'll
There
ask
is, I
again,
just,
anybody
there
else? that
is,
would like-
yes,
I'm sorry.
yes,
Okay,
there is.
Oh.
Okay, I'm just taking me a second to work through here. Go ahead. I just opened up the mic.
There's Brett. Oh, Cynthia
Woodson?
Canner.
Right, that's what I'm trying to get to here. Hold on.
Me. I'm gonna start getting my.
Hold on. Bear with us here. There we go. Oh. Okay.
There we go. Hi, this is Cynthia with the Environmental Defenders of McHenry County. And it's interesting because I've never been to a meeting before, and this actually made it easier for me to attend, ironically. So I wanted to reiterate what Kim said and just really appreciate in general all that the Conservation District does. And even though these are difficult times, I really look forward to the coming year and working with you on your special 50th next year, and to collaborating and continuing all the great things that we do together. So thank you all.
Cynthia, where do you live in McHenry County?
I'm in the very southeast corner on the border with Kane and Algonquin.
In Lake in the Hills.
Lake in the Hills. Okay, thank you very
Algonquin.
Oh, Algonquin, okay.
much. Okay,
On the east side of the river.
okay. Elizabeth, do we have other people who want to speak?
I'm just looking to see. Hold on a second. Let's see if anybody else raises their hand.
Eat that up right now.
Anybody else raising your hand that would like to speak? One more time. Anybody that would like to speak?
Elizabeth?
I believe that's all we've got.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your comments.
Thank you.
I would like to move on to 10.0, Board Business Consent Agenda. I would like to have a motion. First of all, I'd like to ask, does anybody want to remove any of the consent agenda between 10.1 and 10.22?
10.22.
Does anybody have anything they want to take off the consent agenda?
It's all up to you, Lynn.
Okay, so we're all ready to go? Okay, so nobody's taking anything off. All right, so
Okay.
I move, is that all right to continue, Vern?
Yeah, okay, nobody has, I just wanted to,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know
okay.
if people are looking yet or not. Okay, we're all set? Okay, Lynn, go ahead.
I
Make
think
motion.
so. Okay, so I move to approve the consent agenda, which includes 10.01 approval of minutes, including 10.1A, February 8th, 2020 Special Call Conservation Congress, 10.1B, February 18, 2020 Finance and Administration Committee, 10.1C, February 18th, 2020 Special Call, 10.1D, February 20, 2020 Committee of the Whole, 10.1E, February 25, 2020 Regular Session Public Meeting, 10.1F, March 4, 2020 Special Call Meeting, 10.1G, January 16, 2020 Executive Session 1 and 2. 10.02, Acceptance of Treasurer's Report, February 29, 2020. 10.03, Second Reading, Ordinance Number 2973, Amending Policy and Procedure Manual, Establishing 9.32, Workplace Bullying and Modifying Transgender Policy. 10.04, Authorization to prepare specifications and let bids for exterior repairs and re-roof Prairie Education Center. 10.05, Authorization to prepare specification and let bids for exterior painting of Brookdale Birches Building, Region 6 Ranger Shop, and Weidrick Barn. 10.06, Authorization to prepare specifications for let bids for the purchase of 2 ATVs for Natural Resources Area Management. 10.07, Authorization to prepare specification and let bids for contractual herbicide application to treat invasive weeds and brush on district sites countywide. 10.08, Resolution Number 20-17, authorize the executive director to execute financial assistance agreement with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for $25,000 for summer seasonal crew.
Wait, I'm
10.1
sorry, Lynn, was
Mhm.
it 15,000 or 25?
25,000.
Okay, my agenda has 15,000.
So does mine. It should be 15,000. There's a typo in the PowerPoint. Thank you for catching that.
Yes, I'm reading from the PowerPoint. So we'll say that again. We're gonna, that includes 10.08, resolution number 2017, authorizing the executive director to execute financial assistance agreement with U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service for $15,000 for summer seasonal crew. 10.09, resolution number 20-18, authorizing the executive director to execute a change order number 7 with Schroeder Asphalt Services, Inc. of Huntley, Illinois, reducing contract by $32,354 on the resurfacing of the Prairie Trail Link Trail section between Bernard Mill Road and First Bridge. Are those numbers okay? Okay. 10.10, authorization to solicit RFQ for professional civil engineering services for stream erosion and stabilization of the Prairie Trail South, Algonquin, Illinois. 10.11, resolution number 20-19, accepting 2020 Conservation Congress congressional session summaries. 10.12, resolution number 2020, authorizing the executive director to execute a contract for hot mix asphalt patching of Entrance Roadway and Thomas Campground Roadway, Marengo Ridge Conservation Area with Chicagoland Paving Contractors of Lake Zurich, Illinois, the lowest responsible and responsive bidder for a cost not to exceed $55,000. Right? Okay. 10.13, resolution number 20-21, accepting the 2019 hunting program directives. 20.14, ordinance number 20-974, authorizing the transfer of funds between budget line items GL 0106601 and 0106605 to GL 0106602 in the general fund in the amount of $6,055 for fiscal year 2020. 10.15, resolution number 2022, authorizing the executive director to execute joint grassland venture lease on 85.3 plus or minus acres at the North Branch Conservation Area parcel to the highest and responsive bidder, Tyke Nichols of Hebron, Illinois, at a rate of $77 per acre for a period of 3 years. Resolution 10.16, resolution number 2022, authorizing the executive director.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's a 2023. There's a typo.
Oh, yep, we said that again. Okay, sorry, missed that.
23.
Yeah, so we'll redo that. So number 10.16 is resolution 2023, authorizing the executive director to execute the joint grassland venture lease on 16.2 plus or minus acres. Got it. Acres at the Rush Creek Conservation Area parcel to the highest and responsive bidder, David Loffer of Crystal Lake, at a rate of $23 per acre for a period of 3 years. 10.17, resolution number 2024, authorizing the executive director to execute the agricultural lease agreements to the highest and responsive bidder on the 38.4 plus or minus acre Kaiser parcel at Brookdale Conservation Area to Robert Harridan of Harridan Farms and Stables, Inc. of Liberty, Illinois, at a rate of 30.5% per acre. The 19.3 plus or minus acre SAS parcel at Glacial Park Conservation Area to Tam N. Bauer of McHenry, Illinois, at a rate of 50.68% per acre, and 20.3 plus or minus acres to Taylor parcel at Rush Creek Conservation Area to Chris and Kyle McKee of Woodstock, Illinois, at a rate of 15.5% per acre for a period of 3 years. 10.8, resolution number 2025, adoption of the fiscal year 2021 legislative program. 10.19, ordinance number 20975, authorizing the acquisition of real property commonly known as the Dolman Trust Parcel and the execution of the attached real estate contract. 20.10, resolution number 20-20.
That's 10.20.
10.20, yeah.
Did I say 20.10? Oh
Yeah.
boy, I've been reading too long. Okay, sorry, start over. 10.20, resolution number 20-26, approving the reclassification of the position of Director of Marketing and Education, Administration, grade 21 to grade 24, effective April 1, 2020. 10.21, resolution number 2027, approving the fiscal year 2021 salary schedules as presented. 20.22, ordinance number 20-976, authorizing the transfer of funds between budget line items GL 0105-201, 0105-203, and 0105-204 to GL 0110-284 in the general fund in the amount of $14,238 for fiscal year 2021.
Do we have a second?
Oh dear God, I'm done. Good.
I second.
Yes.
Linda, that seconded it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ann?
Okay, trustee Thomas,
Yes.
trustee Henning,
Yes.
trustee Fritz,
Yes.
trustee Brandt. Trustee Brandt, are you there?
Checking to make sure what happened to Denise here. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
I have to unmute. I don't know how he got muted. Okay, Dave.
Yes.
Okay,
Sorry about that.
trustee Campbell,
Yes.
trustee Cook,
Yes.
trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, I'd like to move on to 11.0, new and unfinished board business. I would like to discuss 11.1, approval of bills payable for the month of February 2020. Anybody have any questions as to anything on those bills that we pulled last month?
No, just an observation. I noticed that under the Ace Hardware McHenry and the helicopter, for the first time I saw a signature by Vern and John, and I never saw that before. So I was just wondering what's up with that.
We
So-
had the same questions. We want to know how that electronic signature got on the bill. Elizabeth was going to investigate it and get back to us today, I guess.
Oh,
So I'm going to unmute Andy, but also, so if I can do this here, and I can answer, this is working here. So it is just, it's a check. It's a check that we cut. And so as the president and the treasurer, your signatures are on that check.
Oh.
oh. Okay,
Okay,
that's
but
fine.
why not? Wasn't there one for Century Springs?
Yeah, but there was no signature.
Yeah, that one didn't have the check attached.
Oh, okay.
So-
Did I unmuted you? Andy, do you have anything else to add to that?
No, just said normally we don't need to give you a copy of the check. Usually there's enough support on the detail of the invoices, but occasionally Linda will just feel like it adds something to the support. So there's
Okay.
always a signed check, but
Yeah, but there
most
was
of the
no
time you don't
signed
get it,
check.
and every now
It
and
was-
then you do.
Andy, it was the detail sheet, and at the bottom of the detail sheet was the signatures. I didn't see a check.
Well, that
No.
is the check. If you look at it, Dave, you'll see it's a check. It's a copy of
Oh.
the check. It's not the
Okay.
actual check. So we
Okay.
print them all out on a hard sheet. That becomes our copy of the check.
Okay, good
You
enough.
have a copy of a copy.
That's good.
Interesting. All right.
Okay, John, you feel comfortable with everything?
That sounds better. I was worried
Yeah.
my name was getting used a lot more than I wanted it to.
Right.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay. 11.A,
Are we going to pull some invoices?
right, that's what I was going to ask.
Okay. I do have one. It's okay to say that, are we on to the pulling of them?
Right, yes.
Okay, so
11.1.
I have evergent.com LLC, and they are E8546 in the amount of $1,765.
Okay.
Thank you.
I will add one, vendor W0513, Woodstock Farm and Lawn, for $155.65. And then I also picked another. Anybody else want to add one?
Nope, I'm good.
Vendor 3F3394, FedEx, for $107.41.
All right.
Okay, Andy, you got everything?
Yep, I got them.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, that being the three, I'd like to move on to 11.1B. Can I have a motion for consideration to approve
Well, for
payment?
point of order, I did not, I went through that twice and I never saw an FS bill.
There is an FS bill on the one that I'm about to send to you that Andy and I just got about 15 minutes before the meeting.
That's going
Sounds good.
slow.
Yeah, I didn't get it sent out. I had to eat something.
Oh, man. All right.
Well, then I'll go ahead. No, I'm not in finance, so can I make a motion on finance?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, I'll move to approve payment of Conserve FS as indicated on the submission of bills pending report for the period ending February 29th, 2020.
I'll second. Campbell, seconds.
Got it? Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Hmm?
Trustee Henning,
I'll abstain.
Trustee Fritz,
Yes.
Trustee Campbell,
Yes.
Trustee Cook,
Yes.
Trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Trustee Brandt,
Yes.
and Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Motion passes with one abstention.
Okay, I'd like to move on to 11.1C, consideration to approve payment of the balance of the bills. Can I have a motion?
I'll
I
move.
can make that motion.
Bill was first. I'm grabbing Bill.
All right, then I'll second it.
Thank you, John. Okay. Trustee Campbell,
Yes.
Trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Trustee Henning,
Yes.
Trustee Cook,
Yes.
Trustee Brandt,
Yes.
Trustee Fritz,
Yes.
and Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. I would like to have a motion for 11.2, consideration of ordinance 20-977. And whoever gets it can read it.
All right, then I'll move to approve ordinance 20-977, authorizing the executive director to execute an administrative discretion on emergency actions and policies for the continuation of operations for 90 days during the COVID-19 pandemic, including granting regular IMRF part-time and full-time employees up to 2 weeks of paid emergency leave if facilities are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Who seconded it?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Pat.
Do we have any discussion?
Well, I'll only comment if I may. May I speak?
Absolutely.
I think that the district should be fully compliant with whatever federal and state regulations and our internal policies and contracts. But I don't think we should go beyond what we're required to do. And I understand this is a fast changing
period, that's affecting everyone in the general population, which means it affects the district's employees, and it also affects the taxpayers who support the district. And I worry that if employees of the district are getting benefits that are not available to the general public, that could have an adverse effect on the general community support that we rely on. So I think we should follow the lead of our elected representatives in the state and federal governments and not get too far ahead in what on the surface is obviously very well intended. And thank you for listening.
This is John Henning. I don't have it up in front of me now, but when we're reading through the explanation before, I really didn't like the one paragraph where it said, well, the money's budgeted anyway, so why not go ahead and use it? The money was budgeted to actually do work, not necessarily just as a perk, and I'm using that word very loosely, but I didn't really like the way that was worded.
Anybody else?
Well,
wanna make- Lynn?
yeah, I know. I'm just, go ahead, Pat. Go ahead, Pat.
I really didn't know I just didn't know what the state or the country, what they were doing. So I guess I'm what it was. So I apologize for that.
Well, I think that if we looked at some of the information that was provided by other park districts and what they're trying to do for their employees, I mean, it sounds like, because of the kind of agency that we are and the things that, the accommodations that we've been able to make, I mean, this is really in kind of a worst case scenario. I don't think it was ever intended to say, okay, so we have the money, let's spend it anyway. It's more of a stopgap measure too, until we're required by law to provide that to our employees starting April 2nd. And there's a good chance you never even end up implementing it. But being an outdoor agency and implementing some of the procedures that we've already had in place, there's a good chance of a lot of it being mitigated. And you also have a situation where partly what you're trying to do is make sure that when this is over, we have a staff that we can open up and we're up and running again. And I do think that there are companies, not just governmental units, but companies that are making efforts to allow their employees to, do whatever they can to get through this. They're not just pushing them out the door. There are jobs for which
Pardon me,
staff are not available.
Lynn, Elizabeth, can I ask if you could find out whose dog is barking?
It's the two phone numbers that are showing. You need to mute the two phones if possible.
Can we?
Or whoever's called in on their cell phones, you need to mute yourselves.
Okay, I've muted them. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Vern.
All right, thank you.
I apologize, Lynn. You were breaking up.
No, that's okay. I'm not sure what to say. This is an unusual time. I think this is not meant to just spend money because we have money. I think it's a protection. There's many things that are going on right now. We're going to be required by law to do it starting April 2nd. Chances are, there's a good chance we never implement it. And we want to make sure that when we are back up and running, we have our staff in place to do so. We're not the only agency to be trying to protect employees to get through a very difficult time. Private companies are doing it, other units of local government are doing it. And I don't think we're trying to be cavalier in this response. I think we're just trying to do what we can to get through it. And where are we at now? We're really just not that far away from when we would have to do it anyway. So.
Okay. Anybody else have a comment that they would like to make?
I guess I'm missing something too, because I never heard that anything was mandated as of April 2nd that we have to do anything. I don't think anything was passed that I know of, and I could be wrong.
It came at, Elizabeth sent out a package at 3:00 today, and one of the things in there indicated what the federal guidelines were.
But it's not passed yet.
If I can speak to that, if I can, please. There was, on March 18th, the President of the United States signed the legislation through Congress. It's called the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. It has 3 parts, but 2 parts that pertain to the McHenry County Conservation District. One is an emergency paid sick leave act, which is mandated, and it's on the cost of the employer. We fall into the category of under the 500 employees. It would be applicable to both full-time and part-time employees, and it gives them 2 weeks of protected leave for 6 reasons, and it's specified. 3 of them are very specific to the employee, and 3 of them are specific to caring for someone. As stated, it could be a child that is sick, a family member that's sick, a school being closed, so it's very specific. The other thing it does is the Family Medical Leave Act. It provides that this is a protected leave under FMLA. And again, that is applicable, and it goes through April 2nd of 2020 through December 31st of 2020. So that is mandatory. It is at the employer's expense. I appreciate the conversation. I think one of the things, if I can just speak to the district, obviously it's very important, and I appreciate knowing that our workers and our team, we depend on them to do our work. They are being productive. I am very proud that our efforts, when all of this hit, we were way above the curve, way out in front. And so we've been able to transition our employees into productive work environments. We were seen by the governor as essential services of activities that we are providing. So all of our team members today are productive. That's amazing. This provides, in the event that someone should get ill, there's a mandatory piece that doesn't go into place until April 2nd. So we were unsure as this board meeting was being established where they were going to be at the federal level. We do have a gap. So the first bridge is how do we get to that April 2nd should something happen for our employees. Full-time employees have benefits. Our part-time employees do not have benefits. So in the material I sent out today, I tried to lay out a chart to make it as easy to read as possible, but these things kind of run concurrently with one another. I apologize if it's confusing, but our full-time employees, they already have sick leave. We already in our policy have a sick bank policy. And then per our policy, we already state in our emergency closing, should we close our facilities for emergency purposes, that employees will be paid for that time that we are closed. So that is per policy. The purpose of the additional up to 2 weeks, which is I'm calling it the Health Increase Supplemental Plan, is to allow us some unknown circumstances that should come up. There may be a time when a team member or a situation requires us to shut down a particular area, and this would give me a limiting factor to which to use, again, tools in the toolbox should they be necessary. So that's why it was proposed. Again, we proposed before the federal government put in their legislation, but that'll only be 2 weeks. And so we're not sure, what the outliers of this whole pandemic will be. And so I appreciate your thoughts. Again, my goal is to keep our staff, one, being productive, keep them healthy, know that we care about them, and know that they're there to serve the community, and they're willing to do what is necessary to fill in. We haven't been like a lot of other employers when this came down because of our proactiveness. Other places, their employees were home being unproductive. And that was not the case with the McHenry County Conservation District.
Okay. Can I just say really quickly, because I understand that we did get some information over this afternoon, but on Monday we had an updated board packet that was sent over, and I know that I downloaded it then, and I've been operating off of that since. And the information regarding the federal order was in that packet. It wasn't just given out today. So I know it's in my packet, which I downloaded at least. I'm looking back at the email, so it was on Monday. There's just a lot of moving parts right now, a lot of information. And, you know, I kept going back and did I hit all of those little tabs on the side of my, you know, Adobe files? And so I know I had some that information that was already passed along regarding the federal order, at least on Monday.
Okay. I'd like to say something if I can. I would, first of all, I'm happy to see that we have a great number of staff on this call also, because this affects you, this affects your livelihood and your family's livelihood. So the board is very aware of that and very apparent of that situation. Many of the board members also have the same situation to some extent. It was not too much after we had our February meeting that we found out about the coronavirus affecting the United States and its impact. At that time, Elizabeth and I communicated with each other immediately as to what we were going to do going forward. One of the things that has led to this electronic video conferencing board meeting, because we weren't sure where we were. The first thing we decided was to stream down the board meetings from 3 to 1 and have it at the district. But as time progressed, and it progressed very quickly, we decided that was no longer going to be viable as the coronavirus was spreading in the United States. So we decided that we would go to an electronic forum to have this meeting. That being said, every conversation Elizabeth and I have had, and we've had them almost daily, my intent was, and Elizabeth's intent was, to keep all of our employees actively working until some government agency other than our own told us we could no longer work. And even then, we were trying to define what the parameters were in the term working. Last week, we made the decision as a district to take as many people who could remotely work from home and do their job and keep the district functioning during this time of confusion and great concern to the United States. Last week, we had 86 full-time and part-time employees. And last week we had, I just want to go through some numbers so everybody understands the impact that this has on the total number of employees by area. We had 3 people at the Brookdale office who were still going to function at the Brookdale office. We had 2 employees who were going to work at the Brookdale Pines office in the office and work remotely, a combination. We had 6 employees at the Lost Valley Visitor Center who were going to do the same, work at the office and work remotely or be outside. In the Prairie View Education Center, we had 4 employees who were doing the same thing. In the mechanic shop, our mechanics, they can't work remotely and they can't work in the field, they work in the shop. So they were working in the shop last week. The Wildlife Resource Center, we have 3 people that work there, and the same thing. They have to go there every day and take care of the animals that we have there. We have 34 employees last week that were working remotely, and it was a test for the district to see if we could function remotely, and it seemed to work well. We had 14 part-time employees that were also working last week, and we have 2 employees on a leave of absence for different reasons. This week, I'm happy to report that we have nobody working at Brookdale, nobody working at the Pines, nobody working at the Lost Valley Visitor Center, and nobody working at the Prairie View Education Center. We still have the 2 mechanics keeping all of the vehicles working so that people can use them when they are working in the field. We have 3 people at the Wildlife Resource Center still doing their job, taking care of the animals that we take care of there. Now we have 49 people working remotely from 34 last week. Employees in the field, and I guess I want to separate that. We had 14 part-time employees who are working not remotely, but at their designated site, and we have 16 employees, to my count, that are working, and those 16 employees basically are made up of our police force and our maintenance people and our rangers. So what we're talking about is, it was always my intention, Elizabeth's intention, to have everybody work and get paid for working, whether it's remotely or they're physically present. The issue was the law that the president and the Congress passed said that you would have to pay employees 2 weeks pay. Every employer would have to give their employees 2 week pay if their location, if their work location was closed down by some form of government, whether it be the federal government, state government, whoever, because of the coronavirus. We were hoping that we would be able to transition to that April 2nd date. The governor of the state of Illinois gave us a big gift last Friday when he said, we're going to close non-essential businesses down, restaurants, you know who they are, but we're going to keep recreational facilities open for the general public to be able to go and walk, get fresh air, walk their dog, get a time to get away from their house and do something pleasant. That being said, that will carry us till April 7th. So unless something totally goes upside down here and they retract it, which I don't think will happen, we now are covered. All of our employees are working. All of our employees will continue to work, will continue to get paid, and we have diverted what would have potentially been an issue that the board would have to have dealt with. We don't have to deal with that. Come April 7th, the law says what it says. We have nothing that we need to do any further. The 2 week paid, and again, I'm not sure if everybody understood. Elizabeth and I, she's been very patient with me going through this 3 times, so I understood it. We have 2 2-week periods. We have one, if you physically get sick, if somebody in your family gets sick, your children get sick. So there's the side, the 2 weeks that says you have to give your employees 2 week paid leave from the coronavirus side of it. On the opposite side is you have to give your employees 2 week paid leave starting April 2nd if you have your facility closed, not because of your doing, but some government entity asked you to shut your buildings down and send your people home. Again, the governor gave us a gift by saying we didn't have to do that. So this is an issue that doesn't have to be resolved because there's not an issue that needs to be resolved. But after April 7th, we need to decide what it is that could possibly happen. We know what the law says. If another government entity tells us we can't have our employees work, now that's a big question because work means our employees who work remotely can work. And as long as everybody can gainfully be employed, and even though some of our people who work in the field every day of the week and do a great job keeping the sites open and the trails taken care of, we have talked about other things we could have them do that they could do at home if we had to go there. We haven't had to go there because they're able to work. So from my perspective, we've dodged a bullet. My opinion is we don't have to do anything today because we have the ability, because the governor gave us that bridge to get to April 2nd, and we could go forward with it. So now, if somebody in the district gets coronavirus, we would have to go back to the government law that says, how are we going to pay them? And I think Elizabeth can talk about, we have sick pay policy, we have sick time banks. We can go to our regular district policies that would keep people being paid for doing their job when they're here. And if they're sick with the coronavirus or anything other than the coronavirus, we have a policy that takes care of them. So again, I think we have all the pieces in place to cover our employees to continue working and getting their paycheck and paying their bills and taking care of their family. Once we get past April 7th, it's a new day and we'll see where we go from there, and we will make decisions accordingly. So it's something that if it needs to be done, I would ask that we have a special call meeting via the electronic and discuss this as a board as to how we want to proceed. But I think from my perspective, we don't have to do anything today. There's nothing requiring us to do anything. That's my opinion. So I open it to anybody else who'd like to comment.
This is Elizabeth. If I could just, I appreciate explaining the work that you did of our current process and where we are. The one piece that I'm looking at when we interpret our personnel policy manual and our policies that we already have in place, and again, we've got a good basis to start from, and I do appreciate the work and the effort that we have here to use, and we can rely on that, and I'm not proposing that we change those. On the far right-hand side of the chart that was sent out this afternoon and what was in the memo was the health emergency supplement. And so the supplement piece is allowing us to interpret our sick leave policy and our sick bank policy and giving me a little bit more discretion to, again, backstop should there something occur. For the sick leave policy, what I'm looking for is that I'm able to define why someone is sick, similar to what is being in place by the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which gives the 6 reasons, and I think that provides a little bit more flexibility of should something occur. It's very possible that our schools and those children, they may be forced into a situation where the kids aren't coming back after spring break or whatever. So this would allow them to use our sick leave policy or other policies that we have under leave, but would allow the definition under sick leave to be applicable. The second one, under the sick bank policy, this is something that our employees contribute of their time because they stay well, they stay healthy, and they're able to build up their banks. And that's something we should be very proud of. There's a limit on that. Employees have a limit of how much sick bank or sick days that they can accumulate in a particular year. And this would allow us to roll over, because we're at the end of our fiscal year as of March 31st, the hours that have already been contributed by our employees to allow that to be available so that other employees, should they get sick during this time, they can pull upon that and use that. And I think that's reasonable because that is time that has been gifted by employees. Normally at the end of the year, we drop off anything, it comes off the books, and we carry over only what is allowed, the 40 days or 320 hours. As of 3/23, as of today, we have 488 hours that employees have contributed. And so my proposal is that that be allowed under these unique circumstances to be carried over, since this was gifted by our employees to help their fellow teammates during time of crisis. If we have a time of crisis, the crisis is now. Lastly, on the emergency closing policy, this is where we were looking for the additional 2 weeks, which seems to be the area of concern that we're giving additional time. I was looking for clarification because our emergency closing policy, if it be forced, doesn't have any specific definition. And so I was looking to just be able to provide flexibility. Not all employees, only full-time employees have sick leave policy. They don't have vacation. So we have regular part-time employees that it's a small group, but they don't have pay. Should something happen to them, they will be covered under the federal legislation, but there's no other time. So that was just a way to kind of assist kind of with, I guess called a belt and suspenders. But that was the 3 additional approaches of what we were looking for this evening.
And again, Elizabeth, do you have the chart that you were put up on that so people can see that?
Yeah, give me a second. I can do that if you I'm going to stop share and let me see if I can pull that.
How do I view it? Oh, what happened?
Hi, Dave.
Hey.
Hey,
Hold
hi.
on.
Hi, Ann.
Bear with me here. Hold on. Let's see here.
And while you're doing that, Elizabeth, you know, I totally support that any of the sick pay that we normally would not allow people to carry from one fiscal year to the next, we bend the rule in this circumstance to allow any sick days that have been accumulated other than the 40-day limit to let them roll everything. And again, I hope that my fellow trustees understand that employees are donating their sick time into a pool so that if somebody else gets sick and they need the time to get paid, they can.
Is this up on the screen for everybody to see?
No, we're looking at you now.
Now, Ann.
Okay, hold on a second here. Let me
Hi,
figure
Linda.
out what's going on.
Hi.
Let me go share again. Hold on. All right. Now what
Uh-oh,
do you see?
I lost
See
my
it
way.
now?
Yes,
I
you
see
can.
it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's up.
Okay.
I'm lost. I don't see you guys anymore. I touched something. I
So
don't,
miss it, go back to participants, but.
Yeah, go
okay.
down to
yeah, I lost that screen. Where?
drag your mouse to the bottom.
No, I'm back. Yeah, I don't know how to, I'm hooked.
Okay,
but I
then
don't-
if you're back to your regular screen, there should be a little
There
zoom.
we go.
Okay.
I took a little trip. Never left the farm, but took a little trip.
All right, so in front of you, I hope you're all seeing this chart that I put together as suggested by President Scotchy to kind of identify, and my kudos to Jenny Hyder who helped put this together with me this afternoon. She's online too. So the yellow is exactly what we already
And how do I
have.
get to that, Elizabeth? I don't see anything.
Is it not on your screen right in front of you?
You guys are all on my screen.
Okay, then you need to shrink that, Dave. At the very top right-hand corner, there's a box in a box.
Box in a
Here.
box.
Click on
now it's
that.
just you, Ann. Oh, there it is. Okay.
That should flip you to what's being seen on the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Can you see it now?
Yep, I got it now.
So I don't know if you see my little hand moving, but the yellow is, that is our existing policies that are currently in place, and those are available. In the middle and squeezed in the orange column, those that maybe see, I just tried to make a difference there. The two is Family First. That's the federal legislation that's in place as of April 2nd. It was signed on March 18th. And then on the other side, the far right, is the supplemental policy, is which I'm proposing, which gives the interpretation of the definition for leaving on a sick leave. The sick bank allowing for us to roll over our balance. And then the last one is the emergency closing, because there is no definition and would allow us up to additional 2 weeks above and beyond what's provided under the federal legislation, should that become an order, because right now it just says per our policy that we're closed and we're to pay our employees. It doesn't give a limit.
Hello? Yeah, I can. Are you heading to pick up that mower?
Mary, you're on. You need to mute your phone, Mary. Mary, you need to mute your phone. Or Elizabeth, can you mute Mary?
I did. I don't know who that is. I muted everybody.
That was Pat moving around.
Okay, all right. Are there any questions with the chart? And then I also then gave you some other leave policies that are available that are in our leave section. Again, bereavement, vacation day, holiday pay, vacation days, personal leave. Again, you'll see that our full-time employees have these that are made available to them. They have to be eligible for certain things that could come into play. These could run concurrently with what activities are going on. But as you see to our part-time employees, they don't have those same type of benefits. And then they're limited. Our IMRF part-time employees, and I gave you a list of definitions too. This is in the policy manual that was presented out to you. They're each defined. Part-time employees, they work 29 hours per week. That is a guidance because that became law that they're required to have health benefits. So that's why we call them regular part-time. With the IMRF eligible, they're working in over 1,000 hours. And then our short-term, or what we would call seasonal, but they're officially known as short-term employees. Those are the ones that'll come on during the summer, and there's a few. Right now, that's not our team that's in place. It's our full-time and our regular part-time. IMRF eligible with a few regular part-time employees.
So any questions anybody has for Elizabeth after looking at these charts? 1, 2, you know, the yellow, the pink, and the blue.
Nope, so call the question, I guess.
Okay, let me. Okay, Trustee Cook,
No.
Trustee Brandt.
Wait, Dave, I'm sorry. I'd like to pull the call back, please. I don't want to go to a vote yet.
Dave, is that okay with you?
No, I think we've talked about it enough, so.
What else are you trying to ask?
What do you need, Vern?
What do you need, Vern?
I don't have a I guess my point was, I don't think we have to say that we're going ahead and extend the 2-week policy because we're covered. We're covered through April 2nd, and then we have to decide where we go after April 7th. I don't have a problem talking about letting people roll sick time, vacation time, comp time, all leave time.
Right, but doesn't this, I'm sorry, but doesn't this, and I agree with you. I think all those things are great. And I think all this really does, in a sense, is allows our executive director to use her best judgment should the worst occur. If we have other options that are available, remote working, taking money from the sick bank that's been contributed by all employees, allowing that to continue into the next fiscal year so that that option is available. I think what we're looking at here is what are the tools that are available to mitigate any scenario that may come forward, even the worst case scenario, and giving our executive director the tools that she needs to do her job.
Okay.
You know, and like you said, we're going to go ahead and continue with the sick pay and everything else. So
At some point,
April,
I'd like to make a comment. Just tell me when it's appropriate.
Okay, I just want to say after April 2nd, and we're gonna keep everybody working because we have the authority by the governor of Illinois to stay working through April 7th. So, and once April 2nd hits, if anything happens that will convolute that, we can implement the government's policy. And I'm willing to say at this point that I could say that we could implement some form of this if something catastrophic happens between now and April 2nd, and the governor pulls back his exception of the district from not being an exempted business in the state. I'm kind of lost at why we feel we need to have this extra 2 weeks.
Well, Vern, I have to say that I made a motion and it was seconded, so I'm carrying through. It's on the agenda, and I'm calling the question. That's why. And I think, why wait? I want to give our staff what they need in this very, very difficult time.
Okay, question has been called. Question has been called.
Before we do that, can I ask our lawyer to join in, please?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, Scott, if we have a vote and we have a problem because of this 2-week sick pay that's, you know, along with rolling over the sick bank and everything else, could we rephrase the item again and vote a second time?
Like in the future or today?
Today.
I don't get the question.
Okay, so I think I do get the question. So you're saying if it fails, can a second similar but not the same matter be voted on?
Yes.
Right? Okay,
yes.
Under Robert's Rules of Order, the motion, somebody that voted in the affirmative would have to vote to reconsider the matter, and then somebody could make a new motion with additional, with the change.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Dave, it's your motion, whatever you'd like to do.
Well, we've already started the roll call. Bill, did you had something else you wanted to say?
Well, I would have no problem tabling this because we're all available and we can, in other words, no one can predict what the next week to 10 days to 2 weeks to 2 months are going to bring. But I mean, if all of us stay healthy and we can continue to use this technology, the legislative environment might change. There might be other decrees from state or federal authorities. And if any, if we had to deal with a specific question regarding the well-being of the district, I think we could all come together and deal with it. I think, so
why is it on the agenda?
I don't know.
Elizabeth asked to have it on the agenda.
Okay.
But I think isn't it also a management tool in that we're certainly within budget, and again, we're not doing this strictly to say, hey, we have money, let's spend it.
No.
It is designed to provide that protection in a worst case scenario under the direction of an executive director who is responsible for management. Yeah, sure, we can reconvene anytime something comes up, but we have an executive director for a reason who handles the day-to-day operation within the parameters set forth by the board. So, in the sense that that's what I'm asking for, and this is an unusual time, and again, we're not looking to just spend dollars to spend dollars. I'm not sure. We're taking on more of a role of management when we have a manager to do that for us within parameters.
I did move quickly. I appreciate that. And again, I think we've made, as a management team, as an executive team, we've made with the policies that the board sets, it gives us the ability to move and be nimble in an environment that changes hourly. I tell you, up until today and yesterday, things are moving hourly. So I want to take a deep breath and thank our staff for all their great work, because they've managed with this. And my responsibility is not only to the general public and to
Elizabeth, something happened with your microphone. You're kind of mumbling.
Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Sorry, I had a piece of paper over my thing. I said,
Big difference.
Our duty is to the general public, and then to take care of the staff so that our family is good, so we can be out there servicing. And so what I'm asking seems reasonable. The additional emergency policy definition of the 2 weeks is to put a cap or define what is open-ended. And so right now it's not clear, because we never envisioned under the emergency closing policy that we would be, we've had a snow day. This is not a snow day. Obviously there's a lot of moving parts, and like I was saying, the last 2 days things have calmed down, but knock on wood, I don't know, when we wake up what we're going to see. So I would, again, this is not a way to just look to provide more than is necessary. It's to use discretion and to do what is in the best interest. As I said, our employees have been working. Other employers, governmental employees, have been out with pay, not working. That's not who we are. That's not what has happened. And so this is an insurance policy that allows us the discretion, should something happen outside our control, that I have the ability to lead, follow board directive, but to protect our staff and protect the public.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. So
That's how I feel about it.
Call the question. We've talked about it a lot. I've read a very lengthy read, so I've made up my mind. So can we call the question?
Question has been called. Hey, Cook, did you want to change your vote from no?
No, I'm going to stay a no. Thank you.
Okay. Trustee Brandt,
Yes.
trustee Thomas,
No.
trustee Henning,
Oh, geez.
No, it's too hard.
I really don't like that it's 90 days, for one thing. I'm gonna abstain.
Scott, can you do that?
What are we gonna?
Scott Puma?
Pat, we have a,
You can't hear him. He's muted.
where did he go?
That's all right. I'll just switch it to a no.
Okay. Okay, trustee Fritz,
No.
trustee Campbell,
Yes.
and trustee Scotchy.
No.
Motion fails.
Okay, I'd like to get Scott back on, please.
I'm back.
Okay, Scott, I would like to try to resolve this by splitting this resolution into two resolutions. The one sticking point is a 2 weeks paid emergency leave, and I want to make sure that the staff who's on this phone understand you're going to get 2 weeks leave. We're not, this board is not saying we're trying to take that away from anybody. That's going to happen. And if need be, that for some reason we need to initiate that, we would have a special call meeting to have this issue brought back, a special call and vote to have it happen. The board feels that we don't have to do that, and the governor has taken the biggest weight off of our back by doing what he did. So Scott, my question to you is, can we have two, one just talking about the 2 weeks and the other one talking about any of the other policies of banking time and comp time so that the employees have at their access. And once April 2nd happens, they will get the 2 leaves, both from the sick standpoint and from the district. If it's forced to close, they will have 4 weeks available to them at some point in time. And the board's not arguing that that is a fine thing to do, and the government has put out regulations to say it. So can we keep that as one resolution, and then we can vote it yes or not, or I guess we voted it no now. Can we come back with a second resolution that says we want to give the executive director the ability to do anything within the confines of the other programs that the district has to help employees if they require it, if they require it?
Well, why would
Yeah.
we need to do that if they're already within the confines of what we have available?
Because it expires.
Well, sure, the things, the time that, sure. Okay, so the sick time that rolls over.
Expires this week, next week.
Right. So,
Right.
so
That's not the only issue. And why would we think that we need to come back if something should happen and not just give that authority now so that, I mean,
Here.
the extent to which we are micromanaging is
Bingo.
amazing.
Yes, I agree with you,
We
Lynn.
have an executive director for a reason.
And I don't think we're asking less or more of her.
Yeah, you're micromanaging. It is micromanagement. It is. It
We
is.
have there's a separation. We need to stay in our lane. This is why at some point we need to have a conversation about board governance, which we agreed to as a group back in December to move forward.
Mhm. Right.
And we haven't.
Okay.
The last time I tried to talk to you with an email that I sent out, and I didn't send it to everybody, I didn't get a response because I was afraid of the Open Meetings Act. But this is something that needs to happen because we have to understand as a group how we are supposed to govern.
Thank you, Lynn. Scott, how can we move this to give Elizabeth the actions that she's requesting other than the 2 weeks paid emergency leave?
well, somebody that voted in the affirmative would have to make a motion to reconsider the matter, and then you can split it into two things. Or the other alternative is to move to suspend the rules, and if that's successful, then you could go back and vote the motion again.
Okay. The affirmative was Dave and Lynn. Lynn and Dave, would either of you agree to amend a new motion?
I don't see the need to. I don't see the need.
Wait a minute. So amend the motion for what? I'm sorry. So we
You
would
reconsider. It's a reconsideration of the motion. So if the motion's reconsidered, then you go back to the original motion that was made to approve it. And then the question is, can we then break this into two different components?
I'm lost. I just totally am lost
Well,
now.
okay, so here I get it. So in order to make sure that staff has the protection of rolling over sick time and everything else that we've just talked about, separate from the 2 weeks paid leave.
Right.
You're telling me we have to separate this out into two motions in order to do that. So basically, it's putting it on me to say, or Dave, to go against what we believe is the right direction for the district in order to make sure that they're protected, at least in terms of sick time. So this is really extremely frustrating to me. At some point I'm insisting that my request to deal with governance so that we understand what our role is needs to be addressed, because I don't like being put in this position. I have made concessions before. And so if it needs to be done in order to protect the sick bank, I will do that. But I will not, I insist that I don't know what to do. Why? That's unfair to put me in that situation, since I think then
you don't have to.
But okay, so what happens to their sick bank?
Their sick bank will have a motion. If you heard Scott, he said whoever voted in the affirmative has to make a motion to re-motion it and separate the two. If you feel uncomfortable doing that, we can then not do that and have a second motion, suspend our procedure, and a second motion to create and split this, or not split it. We know where the vote is on the 2 weeks. We would then give Elizabeth every opportunity and every right to do whatever's within her
And that's what the motion
area of responsibility as director.
Okay, so if you guys want to separate it out and that makes sense to you,
No, I'm not going to do that. This is just micromanagement, and I just don't agree with it. And I think what we should.
But I'm saying that they need to. We're not separating it out. They are.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
If
I'm understanding it right, okay. All I care about is that at least some protection is provided, and I don't want anything that I do to keep that from happening in terms of sick pay. Okay. That's all. I don't know.
Okay, Lynn, I'm not sure. Either you or Dave.
Move on with the agenda, please.
Pardon me?
Sorry?
Move on with the agenda, please.
No. But I'm asking from Scott.
Yes.
Direction about.
It's entirely up to the majority, or somebody could make a motion to suspend the rules. And if that's successful, then you can revisit the item and address it in separate components, or only address part of it, the component which in all candor seems like it would be approved.
Okay.
Right. So I guess it sounds like the majority needs to move forward with what it is that they want to do.
Make a motion.
Right.
Well, okay, somebody has to make a motion
to suspend the rules.
And what does that mean? What does suspend the rules mean?
You have rules in place that prohibit that you follow generally Robert's Rules of Order. Robert's Rules of Order don't allow a reconsideration of a motion unless somebody in the majority moves to reconsider. But you can always suspend the rules and then take the action outside of Roberts.
Got it. So that's up to the majority, right, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I'll move to suspend the rules and then reconsider the issue about rolling over the.
Perfect.
So
do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Linda.
Now, Scott, if I could have your help in phrasing this
Okay,
motion.
first there has to be a vote. There's
Well,
no
okay.
discussion on suspending the rules. It's a procedural motion, and then we'll come back. Okay?
Okay, so the roll is trustee Fritz.
Wait, what am I what are we voting on?
Motion to suspend the rules.
Okay.
Trustee Fritz.
Yes.
Trustee Cook.
Yes.
Trustee Brandt.
No.
Trustee Thomas.
Yes.
Trustee Campbell.
No.
Trustee Henning.
Yes.
And Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
motion passes by a vote of 5-2.
Okay, so then now you're back to, let's say, almost zero. So if somebody wanted to make a motion to address just the sick bank issues, you could do that.
I'm happy to do that. I just need help with framing it. I'm comfortable with rolling over the sick bank. I'm not comfortable with the additional unpaid leave provision. So if we exclude the leave provision, I'm happy to proceed with rolling over the sick bank. And
where does it say sick bank in this motion? I don't even see where it says that.
So if you look to the screen in front of you where to the far right, it says Health Emergency Supplement to Personnel Policy Procedural Manual. The two items, I think what Bill is referring to is the first two, the 10.05 sick leave policy.
I got to get to, hold on, Elizabeth. Where are you?
In the blue.
In the blind. All I have is you guys just is a screen. Oh, hold it. This thing again? No, that didn't do it. Oh, here.
So in the chart on the far right, it has the 10.05 sick leave policy. That's our existing policy. And all that I'm asking for is that we define more liberal interpretation of what our sick leave can be used for to align with the Families First Coronavirus Response Act. So that gives 3 reasons for self and 3 reasons for family. So that's what that one is. And then 11.2 Appendix M.
Wait a minute, let's go back to 10.05. Then below that, sick leave policy, then there is effective March 25th, eligibility, regular and full-time employees. And then down at the bottom is definitions of sick leave for FFCRA. So that's all in 10.5? 10.05.
Right, our policies that are to the far left are in place. This is just like a supplemental that kind of overlays it. So it allows us to interpret the definition effective tomorrow if this is approved to align with what the federal government is going to say that during the 2 weeks to be extended for sick leave is available. So I'm just
So
allowing
this motion is to approve everything in blue.
Well,
No.
no, because that got voted down. So what I heard Bill say was 10.5, the way it's listed is okay. And then the 11.2, I believe, Bill, you can correct me, but I believe you said that the rollover that I was looking for the sick bank policy to take over beyond the 40 days, to take over what's already in banked, 488 hours over to April 1st, that would be permitted. That's so if we're taking out the far right emergency, those are the 2 areas that are still in play. Is that
Right.
understood?
10.05 and 11.2.
The supplement for those 2, yes.
Yes, I'm comfortable with that. Yes. I mean,
So that would be the motion to approve those 2 items, 10.5 and 11.2, right?
Right.
Yes. And could I, and while this is something else to, before you kind of move forward to consider. So since we cut out the 2 weeks of emergency, the Families First Coronavirus, I can't speak today. The Coronavirus Response Act goes through December 31st, 2020. Would the board be willing to allow those supplemental policies to go to the end of December? Not the far right, but could we have more flexibility to allow them to be used up until December 31st, which would make our supplement in alignment with the federal government?
I don't have a problem.
Yeah. So you want to carry over the sick time throughout the calendar year till the end of the calendar year?
Well, it would automatically happen anyhow, because once you carry it into the next year, it's going to be available to be used. And so by moving it to December 31st, that allows, my intention would be, it would be available should anything happen during that time. And then we would interpret the definition of our sick leave to be more broadly interpreted. And then it would make it align very well with what's been done by the federal government. We wouldn't have to be interpreting two things. It would make it, to me, cleaner.
Yes, Elizabeth, I'm comfortable with that. Thank you.
Wonderful, thank you.
So,
Okay. Now you're looking for a second.
Thank you.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it. And in that motion then is till the December 31st time period. Is that part of the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
So it's 10.5 and 11.2.
And 10.05.
Yeah, 10, no.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
10.05.
10.05. Okay, yeah. And 11.2 and Appendix M through December 31st of 2020, correct?
That's
Yes.
correct.
Okay, I got it. Everyone ready?
Yes.
Trustee Brandt,
Yes.
Trustee Campbell,
Yeah, I guess to protect that part of it, yes.
Trustee Cook,
Yes.
Trustee Fritz,
Yes.
Trustee Henning,
Yes.
Trustee Thomas,
Yes.
and Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank everybody who participated remotely, who's not board members. We're going to go into executive session. So as I understand it, we all have to sign out of this system and reconvene under a separate call-in number.
And how do you get out of it?
We'll take a motion. Before we do though, we need to make a motion to go in executive session.
Okay. I'm sorry. Can I have a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Well, it's pursuant to C21 Personnel Appointment of Legal Counsel of the Open Meetings Act.
Yes.
Is there a second?
A second.
Is that you, Linda?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Trustee Thomas,
Yes.
Trustee Henning,
Yes.
Trustee Fritz,
Yes.
Trustee Brandt,
Yes.
Trustee Campbell,
Yes.
Trustee Cook,
Yes.
and Trustee Scotchy.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go out at 6:28 p.m.
Okay.
Can
Now
we
we all
have a
have
5-minute break? Can we have a 5-minute
So 5
break?
minute, I will get us hooked up it's into the executive session room. For those that are there, our guests and staff, if you log out and you wait in the waiting room back, we will come back to you just as soon as we're done with the executive session. For our board members and staff that have been invited to attend, you have a link to go into the executive session. So we'll see you there. Thank you.